Here we are again, guys, from Yonkers Voice. Today we have Verris Shako. Did I say it right?
You did, thank you.
Gosh, and I'll tell you, I've been practicing saying your name for the last few days. I was nervous if I was going to mess it up. I didn't.
You did not mess it up, thank you. My name is Verris Shako.
Give me a handshake.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me here, Rue. And thank you, Yonkers Voice, for having me here.
Thank you. But before we start our interview, let me give a shout out to the Yonkers Public Library. Look at the sign, your place, your space. This is a place that you should be coming, you, your children. Books are food for the brain. You need to read, you need to educate yourself. And here at this library, there is lots of programs that can help your children with homework, computer, a whole bunch of things. All you need to do is pick up the phone, call and ask what you have to offer. Now, let's move forward. Shako, Verris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
A little bio, a spoken bio.
Okay, thank you so much again for having me. So Verris is actually a name my parents came up with. People always say to me, what's Verris? Well, they took the VER from my dad's name, Vernon, and the RIS from my mom's name, Iris, to create Verris. So I am, speaking of the Yonkers Library, I've been coming here for many years. I raised my children here in Yonkers. They're now 4 and 6 years old. I brought them to the story times at all the libraries. And I believe they learned to read early because I would bring them to the programs here, and I would bring them and they would check out their favorite books here. So I love the Yonkers Public Library as much as the rest of you do. So I've been practicing as an attorney in Yonkers for the last 15 years. It's always been my passion to work in the courts, and I've been practicing in Yonkers City Court specifically. I also have 10 years of family court experience, and I'm running for Yonkers City Court Judge. There is an opening this year where I won't be, trying to take someone's seat.
But let's not go too far ahead, because otherwise my script's going to go down to drain,
Okay.
and I have to ask you a few questions.
Okay, sure.
Verris, you're running for Yonkers City Court.
Correct.
How long you been living in Yonkers?
I've been living in Yonkers for the last 16 years. So I grew up in Mount Vernon. I went to college here in New York. And then I always knew I wanted to go to law school. So when it was time for law school, I actually got a full scholarship to go to school in upstate New York. And I was also accepted into the University of Wisconsin at Madison. And I didn't really want to go that far away, but I said, let me go and see what I'm saying no to. And I went to Wisconsin and I liked it. And I decided to go out there for law school. And I think that's the kind of judge I would be, someone who looks at the information and looks at the data before they make a decision. Once I was done with law school, I came back here and I lived in New York, in Yonkers, and I started practicing in Yonkers City Court in 2005. 15 years later, I'm still here practicing.
Now, why did you choose law? And I'm asking these questions because I want people to connect. I want people to know the person behind the person who's seeking this position. I want them to know you. Okay. So what made you go into law? What was the propeller that drove you to that?
Well, I think it's kind of growing up in a working class family. I have a mom who is now a retired nurse. My dad was a social worker, and they have 4 children. We all went into public service. I was someone who, as a 12, 13-year-old, just wanted equality for women. I wanted girls to be able to do everything that the boys could do. And when I got a little older, and by a little older, I mean maybe 2 or 3 years later, 13, 14 years old, I said, I want to be a lawyer. I want to stand up for the rights of women, and I want to stand up for the rights of everyone to make sure everyone is treated equally.
You're pretty young.
I'm not that young.
Well, then you got to tell me what the secret is, because I need to take it. I mean, I need to do it. You look pretty young.
Thank you.
And I say that in a positive way, meaning you're an inspiration to lots of young ladies out there. Okay, they look at you and said, maybe in 20 years, 25, 30 years, I want to be exactly like the person I'm watching speaking?
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. Like I said, I knew as a teenager that I wanted to go to law school and I wanted to be a lawyer. So I took that dream and allowed it to push me to graduate high school, graduate college, graduate law school, and come back here and do exactly what I wanted to do. And when I meet young ladies and boys and young men, I encourage them to do the same and not allow anyone to get in the way, and understand that whatever is going on in your life right now is temporary. Just remain focused on what it is you want to do and don't allow, anyone to distract you from that.
Now, Verris, now that brings me to the other question. What did you see in the current atmosphere? I'm asking about Yonkers because that's where we live, and that's where you're seeking to be an elected official. What did you see that you thought about it and you said, you know what, I can do a better job? You know what, I want to run for that position. What was it that made you make that decision? So we need to know, why are you running?
I decided to run, I think, because I spent the last 15 years working with people. People who I looked upon and saw as myself. And when I represented the people from all parts of Yonkers, all areas of Westchester County, I said, how would I want to be treated? And so I worked to make sure that they had their say. And an opening will be available later this year. And I said, I want to work to fill that. I want someone who has experience in the courts to have an opportunity. I have met so many families. I have been involved in my children's schools as, a PTA parent, as a class mom, and to be able to go forward and pursue this goal and have the kids see me, not just tell a story about working hard to achieve a dream, but actually have them see me do it, I think is a much better story, a more profound story. And have the parents who I've known that we've come here for play dates, or we do the Department of Recreation programs here in Yonkers together, to see them see me push forward and support me, I think is really profound. And it shows that if you decide to do something and you put the work into it, that you can achieve it. And that's the story we want to tell to our children.
But now let me pick on something that you just said. You said that one of the reasons that you decide to run is because you want to give the people a voice. You want people to be fairly treated. Does that implies that you think that people are not fairly treated with the current situation?
That's a tough question.
Well, you said it. You implied it.
One of the reasons when I was a teenager, which was 30-something years ago, I wanted to ensure that everyone had a say. That you came to court and you were treated with respect. You had an ability to say however you felt, and you would get the same shot as everyone else. And that's what I've worked to ensure, that when people come to court, they have a say, they're treated with respect, they're treated with dignity. Whether they're right or wrong, they just get a fair shot. And that's all I think I can really say on the issue.
And it's fair, because we don't want you, a person who's running for that position, to be telling us how you would rule one way or the other if you were to get that position.
Well, what I would say is what I said initially about going to Wisconsin. I would take my time. I would not rush to judgment. I would look at the evidence before making a decision and understand that it's not about me. It's not about the lawyers. It's about the litigant, that person who's coming to court for justice, or that person who has an accident with someone else and they want to be compensated for their damages, or a landlord or a tenant. Whoever has the issue, it's about them and getting them justice and allowing them to move on with their day. They don't want to spend all day in court. They don't want to come to court for several years. They want to get their justice and move on with their lives. And I understand the importance of that as someone who's had to stand beside these litigants for the last 15 years.
Now, let's say I am going to vote. I'm one of those persons that you're trying to reach. And I have to make a decision. Do I vote for Verris, or do I vote for one of the other candidates, or do I vote for the person who's been there? So if the platform is the same, maybe I don't want to take a chance. So I need to know, Verris, what would be different if I voted for you? What would give me assurance that Judge Shako would be a fair and square judge? Will she have the blindfold on her eyes, or will she be peeking over the blindfold?
I think that's a great question, Ru. Like I said, I'm someone who has worked tirelessly to ensure justice. And what I want to jump back to is to just alert the viewers that we have a primary. So you don't get one vote for a judge, you get 3. And we have 5 people who are running, and you can vote for 3. The Democratic Party has endorsed me. And I will say what differentiates me.
No, let's clarify that. There is 3 judges who have been endorsed by the Democratic Party, right? You are one of the 3.
I'm one of the candidates that was endorsed. I'm not a judge. If you vote for me, I would be elected to be a judge on the Yonkers City Court.
And you're the one who's going to decide that.
That's right.
So with that said, let's make it clear the importance of casting your vote. Of course, primaries does not mean that you win a primary that you become the judge. That's the primary, and the general election will follow up in November, correct?
But the primary is extremely important. We have a Democratic primary and some other primaries also in the other party lines. But the person who wins the Democratic primary will go on to the election on the ballot in November. So it's very important, it's extremely important that you come out and vote. And I will say what differentiates me from some of the other candidates is that I've been practicing in Yonkers City Court, where I'm now running to be judge for the last 15 years consistently. I haven't left. I started there in 2005 as a new student, as a new lawyer, fresh out of law school. 15 years later, I'm now married. I have 2 kids. I'm still practicing there because working there is meaningful to me, and remaining in my community and litigating cases in that court is very important and fulfilling to me. So I would certainly ask you to vote for me, to elect me to the bench there, because I plan to continue to serve the Yonkers community.
How much do you love your city?
Very much.
Tremendously. And you take a note, not just the oath that you take before you become a judge, an oath to the people that if elected, you will be a fair judge, correct? Not that you will rule in my favor, that favor, whoever favor, but that everyone will have the same shot at justice. Because a lot of people in Yonkers and all over the country don't feel that our judicial system is fair and square. Many people think, including I, that there is a price tag to justice. There will be no price tag in your courtroom, correct?
There will be no price tag. That has been my belief, that I should advocate, and I've done everything in my power to do that for the last 15 years. If it meant doing an investigation, if it meant going to see a witness, I think doing the work, looking at the evidence rather than judging based on the looks of the people who come before the court is very important, and that's what I plan to do. It's how I would want to be treated, and I know that's what everyone else deserves.
I'm going to piggyback on that statement. Verris says that she will not make a decision based on looks, but you, the people of Yonkers, should not vote based on looks. You should vote based on record, based on if you believe that your candidate will do what is best for the city. In this case, that the judge will be that judge and enforce justice and make sure that every one of us have justice when we come in front of him or front of her. That's all we ask. We don't want a judge that will be inclined to me because you like me or whatever.
No.
All we want.
It should be based on the evidence.
Based
and
on
that's
the
it.
evidence.
And that's how everyone gets a fair shot, an equal shot. And you're taking away the points I want to talk about.
Oh boy.
That's what I want to do. I mean, that's my perspective. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm still here 15 years later, because I think that's very important. And I have kids here in the community. They have friends. I have family. We all want to be treated equally and fairly when we come before the court. And that's what my promise to you, the viewers, the voters, would be.
Now, you understand that this is a live stream interview. People are actually there watching us now. And my objective is to inform the people of who you are. Not just necessarily ask questions about what would you do, because I will not ask what would you do in this case or that case, because you cannot give me those answers.
That's correct.
But I'm interested in the people knowing you, the candidate. And when I say you, I don't mean you personally, all my candidates. I want them to know who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in order to make that decision that really counts, based on correct information. How do you see fairness in America?
Fairness in America, or
Yes.
the fairness you want when you come before the
No,
court?
not what I want. Okay, because I might go in front of your court, I want something, and the person who's facing me wants something else. We cannot have, what we want.
They should not be wanting anything.
Exactly.
They should be listening to the evidence and making a decision based on the evidence, not based on anything else.
Not
that's
based on my
happening.
bank account. Well,
Or anything else that, it should just be based on the evidence, regardless of what part of the court you're in.
Ferris, but unfortunately, that's not what the people believe.
But that's what we need, and we need to elect candidates who will bring that to the table.
If you believe that Verris Shako deserves that chance, if you believe that she is a fair and square person, that she will look only to serve and be just, then she deserves your vote. Is there anything else that you need to tell us? Let's say in regards to Ferris that you're collecting signatures now, right? And when you go and knock at each other's door, people's door, you have a conversation. Let's just play a role here. You're knocking at my door. I don't know you, but you want my vote. What would you tell me?
Well, hi, Rue. Thank you for opening the door. My name is Verris Shako. I am a candidate running for Yonkers City Court Judge, and I would love to give you some more information about me. Let you know that I've been practicing in Yonkers for the last 15 years, and we're now collecting petitions to get on the ballot. I would love for you to sign my petition, and also I'd love for you to come back out and vote on June 23rd, as we have a primary. We have 5 people running for 3 spots, so every vote counts.
There is a judge there who I know for 15 years. Tell me, why should it be you? Because what you're telling me, it's the same as the other vote. Please tell me, convince me that you will make that difference. Convince me that you will be that just judge, and convince me that I can be relaxed, that in your eyes we are all the same.
Okay. Well, as I said, there are 3 spots that are available this year, so you'll get to vote for 3 candidates. And the 3 candidates with the most votes, they will be elected. Well, they will go on to November, and if they're successful in November, they will go on and be elected. And I would just ask you to vote for me as someone who has been in the community, who has invested in the community, who has worked in the courts for the last 15 years. And not only do I have the experience in Yonkers City Court, but I have experience in other courts in Westchester County. So I would be coming into the job with 15 years of experience and with 15 years of understanding the issues that come before the court and the concerns of the litigants that come before, and also understanding the perspective of the people who work in the court.
Now, are you involved with the community in the sense of helping the community outside the bench, outside the court, the courthouse? Are you involved in the community?
Like I said previously, I sit on the PTA board for Yonkers Public School. I am the class mom at 2 separate schools in Yonkers. So I have my own practice. I'm in courts. And I also help out in the schools that I'm in. And I serve in other political and social groups here in Yonkers also.
In closure, let's take this opportunity to address the people. because at the end of the day, they are the judge of this interview.
So thank you so much, Rue, for giving me this opportunity to speak with your viewers here at Yonkers Voice. I really appreciate it. And please know that I'll be coming around. I'm hoping that I'll get an opportunity to knock on your door personally so we can talk and I can explain to you the importance of coming out and voting and also signing the petition so that I can get on the ballot. And every vote counts. And I think we need people on the bench who are regular people, who understand the importance of everyone being treated the same, who understand the importance of whether or not you're in court for a traffic ticket or as a tenant or as a landlord or as someone involved in a small claims matter. You just want to be treated fairly and equally. You want to be treated just like the person who comes before you and just like the person who goes after you, and just in the same way that that judge sitting on the bench would want to be treated if they were in your position.
Verris, do you have a website
Yes, I
that
do.
people can go and read about you so they can get more information?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much for reminding me. My website is Shako 2020. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Shako Campaign.
Log in, ask your questions, but you guys remember, this is campaign season. She's busy collecting signatures, busy talking to the people, busy informing the people who she is and why she deserves this spot. So maybe you cannot answer all the questions, but as time is available, you will get to them and get a reply to whatever the questions are, correct?
That's right. And understand that my Facebook page is being managed by a campaign person. But if you go on my website and leave a comment, we'll certainly get back to you. And I'm hoping to knock on your door and talk to you further.
You heard it. Yonkers Voice does not endorse, does not oppose any candidates. Our interest is to inform you so you can have the last word and you can make an educated and informed decision on who deserves your vote. Vote on record, vote on the person's experience, and give it a chance if you feel like Shako, Verris Shako, can represent as well and can be a just judge for the city of Yonkers. Until next time.